Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho, and today I would like to offer your monthly elemental energy reading for the element of fire, which covers Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. If you are interested to know why I read elements versus the zodiac, you can check out a video in the description down below. I kind of explain why I go the way I do. I'm not as comfortable with the zodiac as I am with elements. So, we'll start things off today with the hexagram from the I-ching, and I cast the hexagram before the video so it wouldn't take as long on here. So our first hexagram for fire is number 32. It is the long enduring, and the text is the long enduring success and freedom from error. Righteous persistence brings reward. It is favorable to have in view a goal or destination. So right off the bat, what we're getting here is the month of April for fire. You really need to stay focused. Don't just kind of, well, I have this kind of goal, kind of theory. The hexagram straight up overall is saying you need to have something in place. You need to have a goal, a destination at the beginning of the month, knowing where you want to be at the end of the month. It could be something simple like, I want to get back into meditating for 15 minutes a day. Great. Put that into play. I want to get back to going to the gym 3 days a week. So by the end of April, you should be in the gym 3 days a week. So make sure you have a goal or a destination in this upcoming month. We start with our foundational line, which is right down here. To ensure his continuance, he digs a hole for himself. This sort of determination brings misfortune, for he is unable to go anywhere. At the very beginning, you may not be able to see results. That's not what the focus is here. In the beginning of this month, the beginning of the energy that we're working with, your foundation, it's not so much the doing, it's the planning. So getting yourself into that, rearranging your schedule if you need to, making space, setting up that time, maybe if it's like going to the gym, getting that friend to hold you accountable, because that has a huge impact on your life, is just sometimes having that accountability partner when it comes to going to the gym. But really get the plan in place to start with. Don't start taking action, is what it's saying, without having a focus and a plan. So our second line is regret vanishes. Once you have your plan in place, once you have your plan going, there's really not much that's going to get in your way other than your own thought patterns, basically. So that's the second line, is just saying once you have the plan, then you can start the doing. So our third line is, he is not consistently virtuous and therefore meets with disgrace. To continue thus would be shameful. Your plan should be supportive of yourself, but not degrading of someone else. What they're saying is not consistently virtuous, leading to disgrace. When you're doing things, you should be doing them for the right reasons. Your improvement, but also as you grow, you're uplifting others. It doesn't mean you have to hold their hand. You can be a good example, is what they're saying. So when you're, whatever it is, if you're going to the gym, you're there, you're learning, you're educating, you're not being one of those like influencer type people you see on the internet every so often. You're there to grow, and if someone's like, hey, I don't understand how to do this, share your information. And if you don't know, say so. But what it's saying is to be virtuous, being polite, being respectful. You're heading for your goals, but that doesn't give you license to step on other people to get there. So your fourth place line, there's no game in the field. So if you're basically staying in a situation, you're staying in a place where you don't see any opportunities, what are you doing? You have goals, you're working on plans, but if you're in a situation where you have no opportunity, what's the point? You're kind of spinning your wheels. You're not going anywhere. And that's what it's saying. There's no game, as in prey, if you're using a hunting term, because that's what this is. How are you supposed to have an opportunity? So setting yourself up, getting yourself open to the opportunities, and a lot of times, and this is stuff from my experience, your opportunity is all because of a mindset. So that's what you're working on this coming month of April. So our fifth line, making a virtue of marital constancy, that's an interesting way of saying that, is a type of persistence which brings good fortune to women but is harmful to men. So what this is really saying, and this you have to remember cultural times of writing here, the head of the household in the Asian cultures where this was written is usually a man. So the marital constancy is supporting the head of the household. So for the man, you have to put out, and I'm not saying this is today, unless how your dynamic works that way, but what it is you do not want to be the follower in this coming month. You need to be the one that steps up and shows that you can handle the public duties. The outward appearance needs to be very consistent, but you have to have the support from the people in your circle. If you're being the one who's just always being the supporting one in the corner, that's fine if that's your role. But if your goal is something bigger than that, again, not to go against nature, because that's also what it's talking about here, but you're also not going against and stepping on other people. Most of the positive things that I've read through this book are talking about growth, support, and enhancement through virtue, because virtue is doing the right thing for the right reason, bringing good with you. When you're stepping on other people and you're harming them, you're going against the natural order. That's when the issues come up, and that's what this is saying, is good fortune for the person who's being supportive is fine. But if your role, your position in your little circle is to be more public, then you need to be stepping up. And that's where you have the more feminine role is the supportive role, the more masculine role is the more stepping forward, going out role. And that's what they're saying is, don't go against your nature. If your nature is to be supportive, then do that. If your nature is to be the director of the ship, so to speak, then do that. But make sure it's your nature. Don't go against your nature. And people, especially in today's culture, tend to want to go against nature. It's like, why? So our capstone here is prolonged violent exercise misfortune. Just because you can doesn't mean you have to, and when you do, you should do it with grace, with ease, and with focus on the goal and success. Just physically saying, okay, I'm going to hit the gym these days and I'm just going to hit it as hard as I can. You go in there and you just push and push and push and push, but you're not in the right mindset. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. That's when the misfortune will occur. If you're you're forcing yourself to meditate, first of all, that will never work. You can force yourself to sit down to meditate because sometimes we need that reminder, but you can't force certain things. And that's what this is saying, is setting yourself up for success, not pushing too hard, because pushing too hard, being too aggressive, leads to stepping on other people, leads to doing things for the wrong reasons, i.e. misfortune. So overall, the month of April is looking really good for fire. Keep your goals focused. That is your center point, is the goal moving forward. As long as you can hold on to that and work on the mindsets, the things that you want to improve in your life, the things that you want to do, energetically wise, it's looking like there's going to be some good opportunities, but you also have to be open for said opportunities. So, now on to the tarot. With the tarot and oracle, I read intuitively, so the messages that come through may or may not be the same ones that are in the little books and on the traditional tarot meanings. I read a guide and a guardian or a guardian because it could be a guiding spirit, good guiding energy, or it could be something that's guarding you from some of the unpleasantness if that's coming up that week. And then we look at a message from spirit, which is an affirming, positive, supporting message coming in from spirit, giving you the courage, the encouragement, something along those lines. Then we look at the tarot for a lesson or a challenge, something you can work on as a lesson or something that might be coming in that might be a little bit challenging that week. There's approximately 4.5 weeks in calendar weeks, which is Sunday to Saturday, in April, so we're just going to go ahead and read for 5 weeks. That way there's a little bit of overlap, but that's all right. It's a little bonus reading. So your first week's guide or guardian is the Ascended Master Kuthumi and Moss Agate. There we go. Sacred ecosystem. The universe provides me with spiritual energy and charismatic magnetism to attract all beings in need of light, so I can fulfill my highest destiny as a healing presence in this world. I accept my place in the greater divine scheme, embracing supportive connections in spiritual worlds and the material world, with understanding that my fulfillment and the fulfillment of all other beings is divinely intertwined. I give myself permission to plug in and receive this blessing. So just like with the I-ching, this upcoming month, this first week specifically with this one, is about connecting growth for you, but also making sure that you are the shining light, the guidance, the example, the living example of what you're practicing, so that other people can look and be like, how, why, I want to follow that. And it doesn't mean follow as in like slavish devotion. I mean, it could be. You never know. The universe has its own plans. But it's saying that living the example of a good and upright person, the virtuous people, that way you have that good example, so people want to improve themselves as they watch you improve with grace, dignity, and humility. Your message from Source is beneath the surface, what's really driving you, true motives, breaking free. The iceberg is only the tip. That's what most people see. What's underneath the surface of the water, what's driving you. This is where the proof is in the pudding. You want to improve. Awesome. You want to get better. Even just great ideas. Why are you doing this? Are you doing this to serve some selfish, well, I'm going to keep up with so-and-so because they're doing it, so I have to, and you know what, I don't really care who I step on. I'll make it look nice, but that's not, I'm doing it because I have this weird greed thing going on. Virtue is about growth for the sake of supporting yourself, your family, being a good example. When you look at virtue versus vice, the virtue is doing the right thing for the right reason. That is what the I-ching and that's what the tarot is saying so far. So when you start to set up your plan, like it talked about, the foundation is that first week, don't hop into action too quickly. Get your plan in place, get your focus going, then take action. Part of that is, what is your motivation? What is going on beneath the surface that is driving you to make this goal, take these next steps? And so this first week, you've got the Moss Agate and Master Kuthumi coming in saying, let's get connected in, let's check in with God, let's find out what's going on here. And the reason and the message from Source is, what is going on beneath the surface? What is it that's motivating you to take these steps and move towards this action? So let's look at a lesson or challenge from the tarot. And if you're interested in any of the decks or books that I am using, those are linked in the description down below, and clicking through most of those links is a way to support the channel. They're as affiliate links. So, where am I at? Your lesson or challenge from the tarot is the Six of Fire. Victory, good news is on its way, public recognition, or rewards. This is saying the things this week are going to be good lessons, because you're going to have the first week of April is looking really good for you. There's a little bit of a challenge that I'm hearing is, don't let the ego and don't let pride get in the way, because that could be a stumbling block, a tripping point, and that's where public recognition or awards, having public accolades feels great, as long as it is not your focus. You're not doing the things in this upcoming month just so that someone will notice. Oh, well, I did such a good job. No, absolutely not. What you're doing this month is to build a spiritual growth pattern. It's not to feed the ego's pride in the public. And that's what the lesson or challenge is. You're going to get some public recognition. You're going to get other people noticing what you're doing. Especially in this first week, you're going to start to see people are paying attention to you. That is not a sign for the ego to get in the way. It's saying you're doing the right things because people are noticing it. Keep up with the virtue part of things, but keep moving forward. Don't get distracted by that. So let's take a peek at our second week for fire, as the card tries to jump out of my hand. And we have Ascended Master White Matthew and Danbarite. And that is the original self. I discover, define, and delight in my true self. I choose to dwell in the pure-hearted center of my being, where there is truth, grace, love, and goodwill. I dare to be my higher self. I trust in the guiding intelligence of my soul, that it knows what it is and what it is meant to become. I stand true in my unconditional loving self, knowing I am meant to be... Sorry, I can't quite see that. The light's weird. I am as I am meant to be. I am real, authentic, and original. Sorry about that. So what you're working on the second week, the first week was really about understanding your why, your motivation towards your goals. The second week is, now that you understand the motivations, do you understand yourself? And that's where you have the White Matthew, Ascended Master, and Danbarite coming in saying, okay, you have a goal, which is great. You have some ideas of how you're going to take those steps. So who's involved? The first was the what, and the what and the why. There we go. The second week is now the who. Who's involved? Well, you are. Great. Who are you? So this is that self-reflection, self-discovery aspect coming in, and it's really a growth aspect, because once you understand your goals and your motivations for said goals, it starts to reveal more about you as a person, which is great, because then you can start understanding, oh, I have this to work on, I can do this, this is a skill that I have that I have not really used, wonder why I haven't. Was I told at some point that I wasn't supposed to do that? Then you can start to build and grow and step up on those paths. So the second week is really about deepening your knowledge of yourself and allowing your higher self and your guides and guardians to bring in divine guidance. So pay attention to your dreams the second week. They're also saying that there's going to be synchronicities that pop up that help point to who you are at your core. Your message from Source is the wishing well, unexpected gifts, kindness, and karmic jewels. Karma's in this lifetime is becoming instantaneous. What you do in this life, you pay for or are rewarded for in this life. What this card is saying is, in this second week, the good karma you've been building is actually going to start coming back to you. What you put out comes back, whether it is good or bad. And what this is saying is, you've been doing a lot of good, you've been building, you've been growing. It may not always seem like it's been easy, and Source is saying that sometimes you have to learn through fire because you can't grow without the challenge. But this wishing well energy that's coming in the second week is saying you're coming to a greater knowledge of yourself that is allowing the karma to be addressed, bringing in a different balance, but also allowing the rewards to come forward for you. So the second week, the message from Source is, be okay when the compliments come in. Be happy with the results of those karmic jewels, and spread kindness wherever you go. Don't be a doormat. That's not what we're saying. But spread kindness. When someone's frustrated, you don't have to respond in kind. If you're in a situation where you can, Just give them a smile and be like, it's going to be all right. Everything will get better. You'll be surprised what your intuition will guide you to say when you're starting to open up to that. But this second week so far is really supporting you understanding who you are as a person, and then allowing your natural gifts, talents, and expressions to step forward. So your lesson or challenge from the tarot is the Ten of Water, a contented and rewarding family life. Your emotions and material needs are met. Trustworthy relationships. So what they're saying anyway, my guides, this is a lesson to remember you have a support system in your inner circle. Even when those days are challenging, you're moving forward. Coming to terms with things about yourself especially can be a little bit challenging at times, but you have the support of your inner circle. The Ten of Water is saying the lesson to kind of learn this week is you're not in this by yourself. You have a support group. You're understanding yourself better. So to you, there might be some realizations, little light bulb popping up. But your inner circle is going to be like, that's why we like you. Because you didn't realize that was an aspect of yourself. But the Ten of Water is coming in saying the lesson for the second week is really understanding your emotional and sometimes physical support system, and being great, showing gratitude for it. You don't have to go around telling everyone you're thankful for them. I mean, you could if you want, but what they're really saying is the energy of gratitude. Like, thank you, God, Source Divine. I have a really awesome group of friends. I really appreciate that you brought them into my life. Things along that line. So let's take a peek at our third week. We have Angel Raziel, and the stone is Pierdecyte. And it is Storm Wisdom. I am one with the storm of creative divine chaos that precedes the birth of a new reality. I am cleansed, cleared of what I have been. I open with a wild heart to what must be in the soul to thrive and to grow. With the faith in the spirit and my soul, I am willingly entering into the process of transformation. Goodness and healing shall come from what is happening in my life. I trust the divine beauty destined for me. As I was reading that, they kept showing me the various images of the Tower card as well. This week, you have your who and your what and your why in the first week. The second week is the who. This third week is, okay, so now you understand your building blocks. Now it's time to creatively destroy, rebuild. So this third week, you understand your goals, your drives, your motivations. You're coming to a better understanding of yourself. And I'm talking in micro levels. You can do a lot in a month, but you're in a constant state of discovery. So again, take this for what the layer that you're working on in this moment. But this third week is saying, now we're into the creative destructive phase. When you build a mosaic, you can't just start with the big squares, because you can pixelate it and make it look cool, but generally in a mosaic, it's formed from fractured other pieces. It's from bits and bobs that were broken, could have been discarded, but they were saved to build this immaculate, beautiful new image. Like stained glass, a lot of times they'd break the glass to fit it, things like that. And that's what they're saying this week is, you have everything available to you that you need. You might just have to take it out of its current setting and move it into a nicer, newer setting, and maybe ditch that other setting. It's not working. Like the people who flip jewelry, they'll buy a whole bunch of jewels and rings and necklaces at an estate sale, take them home, pop all the metal out, all the jewels out, throw the metal into the bin to be melted down and reformed, and then reset all the stones. The gems of who you are there. They just might need to be taken out of where they're at and put in a nicer shape. So, and that's talking about like your gifts, your tools, your guidance. It could be emotions, like you've been emotionally invested in something that's no longer serving. Okay, get rid of that, readjust your emotions. But this third week is that creative destruction aspect of the goal that you're currently working on. So this is the time to clear out the stuff that's not working and to focus on building off of a new foundation. So Your message from Source is the waterfall. Inner power, unbridled confidence, claiming your place. And what God Source Divine is saying in this one is, don't worry if you're feeling overwhelmed by breaking things down. The waterfall is a cascading, cleansing energy. The waterfall takes those sharp edges, smooths them down. The waterfall mists and greens up the area around it. So this tumbling, that free fall that you may be feeling as you're going through some of these breaking down and rebuilding periods, this is necessary. You're held, you're guided, and you're supported through this entire endeavor. This is one of those times where it's good to take a deep breath, hold your hands, and say, I'm going to let go. Let's see where we fall. That doesn't mean you're going to crash and burn. It means you're putting your trust and guidance, you're tying your guidance to your higher self, and you're putting your trust in the divine. And that's not an easy thing to do. So this third week, it's not so much like a challenge, or it's not really like a negative for the message from Source. It's, you've got a support team in the spiritual world and the physical world. You're dealing with some things this third week, but we've got this. Let's keep going. So your lesson or challenge is number 15, which is a major arcana card. So this is a huge life lesson. These are big things. It's the ego. It is Archangel Jophiel. A false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. So the challenge was what they're showing is, don't let the ego get in the way. You're going through this period of time where things have to be kind of broken down, reset, reassembled, which is good, and that's how you grow. But this third week, the ego is going to be uncomfortable. It doesn't like it when you change. It just doesn't, because the ego has got a very set structure in its existence, and when you start rearranging things, it makes it nervous because, are you going to kill me? Well, you can't kill the ego. That's just fear. So what it's saying is don't let the ego's fear and paranoia get in the way of your spiritual growth and development. So our fourth week's guide or guardian is the goddess Kali and Black Obsidian, Sacred Revolution. I release allegiance to the old cycles, opening my soul to the birthing process of the Divine Mother, who guides me into the highest fulfillment of my potential. An entirely new order is being established in my life. In respect of this greater unfolding power, I am willing to be moved, inspired, and guided to embrace the new approaches and responses. I possess the courage required for change. I trust the universe loves me, and so I let it grow. This fourth week, you're working with a very powerful goddess of transformation, and you're working with, to me, one of the most powerful grounding stones out there. Black tourmaline and black obsidian are the two tops in my world as far as like getting rid of the negative. And so this fourth week is obsidian. So if you have something with obsidian, tote that around with you. But working with the goddess Kali, in a lot of culture, or a lot of pop culture, they show her as this vile, evil, wicked, but she's not. She's actually a three-faced goddess. And this week is coming in with her mother aspect of supporting and guiding. And she's a little bit of transformation as well, because she does have, that's part of her one of her three faces, is everyone assumes associates her with the death goddess, but what it really is transition. It's the death to the old to be carried into the new. So the third week was the creative destruction, where you're kind of tearing things apart, looking at things. What do I need to keep? What do I need to reinvest time in? What do I need to divest my time from? What is it I need to build? And what do I have for tools, gifts, talents, etc.? In this fourth week, you're taking all those dead pieces, those pieces that have been broken away from the slag, basically, and you're rebuilding. It's transformative. So this fourth week is very heavy with the transformative energies, and you're working with a goddess of transformation. So having that obsidian to ground any panic that, oh no, what am I doing? Is it the right thing? Oh no, am I doing something wrong? You're fine. Especially if you're working on a spiritual goal and pattern. And that's where you can use that to ground, but you're working with the goddess Kali to help you understand the transition that you're in. It's not always easy. It's not always fun. Wish I could say that it was, but it isn't. But that's where you're working on, is trying to clean up some of that excess and get yourself more lined up with what your goals and dreams are. So your message from Source is bounteous, generously given, relationships, and coming together. This is saying that the divine is here to be generous, to help guide you. When your cup overflows, it allows you to share and spread that light, spread that joy, just like it talks about in the I-ching, spreading to others. Your opportunities are available. There's things there for you. And Source is saying, let the abundance that you gain spread to others. It's not something that you can force. It's something that you inspire by your actions, by your abundance, by the blessings, sometimes spiritual, sometimes physical, that come into you. It is going to overflow, and other people will be inspired and grow from that. So let's take a peek at the tarot here. They really just brought that one message in and then left. So that's where we're at with that one. Your lesson or challenge is another major arcana. So these are big things in life. It's the Sun with Archangel Uriel. Happy outcomes, new ideas that lead to success, have confidence in yourself. They're really wanting to say, as you're going through the third week's kind of breaking down, reassessing the tower energy of that third week, this fourth week is about regrowth and transformation. The Sun and Archangel Uriel coming in to say, you have all the gifts, tools, and abilities to help support and grow this. Uriel's coming in to be like, the ego needs to go play with its blocks over there. You have that part of your personality. You do need it. It needs to go over there and play right now. You are in a process of healing. The Sun is coming in saying, let's build, let's grow. So the message here is a lesson of knowing when to use the ego, when not to, but also as you're going through this transformative period, understand the Sun is gentle, warming. Can be a little intense, but what they're saying is it's gentle, warming, it's nurturing, it's comforting, it's helping you sprout to the seeds that you have planted. And so that's the message or the lesson for the fourth week, is be gentle with yourself as you're going through this transformational period, and allow the seeds that you have planted to actually be grown up through nurturing. Our last week's guide or guardian is the goddess Pele and the lava stone. Could be a little fiery this week. Perfect for fire energy. Melt into divine desire. I drop into my heart, welcoming awareness of my deepest soul's desires. I allow myself to be moved by my heart, igniting my higher purpose through sacred passion. My heart's desires carries the genius of magnetic attraction, effortlessly pulling me into all the world that is needed for my spiritual fulfillment that benefits all other beings as well. I am so deeply motivated by what moves my heart, and that I allow the divine consciousness to flow through me unimpeded, transforming the inner vision into the creative expression in the outer world. I allow love to transform me completely. So this fifth week is basically saying everything that you have worked on this month, your month goal, is going to come to fruition in this fifth week. If you have the fire, you have the passion, you have the drive, you're taking things from a spiritual perspective, you're drawing them into the physical, and it's being manifested outwardly. So what I'm hearing is this fifth week is going to reveal the fulfillment of your monthly goal, not fulfillment. They're showing me an image and I can't quite describe it. Basically, it's saying that this last week, you're going to achieve the goal that you're looking for. Other people will notice it, and it's going to be an inspiration to them. So whether it's one person that you inspire through some action that you have completed, or whether it's a group, like you started a YouTube channel, you started a business, or you took your business to the next level, whatever it is you're working on, this last week is when other people are really going to step up and be like, they did that in a month? Which is good. So your message from Source is the Selkie. Come out of hiding, embrace who you really are. The Selkie carries a skin when they come onto dry land. They look human, but they carry their seal skin with them. In the water, they're indistinguishable from the seals. This is what their message is: you know who you are at all times. And when you need to put on a face for work, for a presentation, your ego has been trained to step up and say, okay, we got this, we can do this, being in a supportive role as part of your personality. But when you do not need to have that on feature, you can put it away. You don't need to have it on all the time. It's saying that you have the ability to move through life knowing what's appropriate, when to put things on, because you know who you are behind the scenes. And that changes the dynamic of life for you. So let's take a peek at the tarot here real quick for our lesson or challenge. We have the Magician, number 1 in the Major Arcana. So these last 3 weeks are going to be big shifts in life. These are resetting patterns for you because you're dealing with the Major Arcana, and that's where our focus is shifting into something different as a new habit, new pattern, new life. So these last 3 weeks are going to be pretty influential, is what I'm hearing. The Magician is Archangel Raziel again. Where was he? He's a guide. Sorry. You are ready. You have the resources or the abilities to manifest them. Life is magical. So your lesson is you have all of the skills, gifts, talents, and abilities that you need to achieve this goal. You have figured that out in this last week, especially. Other people notice it even if you didn't notice that you achieved your goal. But you're starting out a new life. You've shifted some things, you've used them to build a new foundation, you've grown through them, and you've transformed into something better than what you were at the beginning of the month. And the Magician card is coming in to say you're on the right path and you're starting a new journey. So the last week is look at how far you've come. Where are you headed next? So hopefully these messages resonate for you guys and gals. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video, let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video.